Right, I thought I'd show you a couple of very quick screen grabs of some of the stuff we use. This is a stock report. You've seen stock reports, I'm sure. You've all got different variants of it. When we started, we very much wanted, we have slightly seasonal ranges, and we have products that come that have a definite life cycle that we want to see. And when we started, I very much wanted, our team wanted to see a lot of stuff in one shot about our stock. Previously, what we had is a horrible unit screen, sort of green screen, yellow numbers. You printed it out, you got green and white striped paper, all the information was in the wrong place. If you exported it, it was gobbledygook. And we wanted a nice, clean presentation. So what we've got here, we just, in terms of flexibility, we asked the guys at TechMan, standard stock report, we break our products down into metals and product codes and numbers, all very boring. Is it a stock line? Yes, over here. We asked them to add a couple of things, which were sales year to date and last year's sales. And it's simple things like that. They were fixed within minutes. They were really easy things to add in terms of system flexibility that made that very useful to us. It made the builders give it to you, but to us it was a very useful thing. The other thing I love about the system is the fact that it allows you to count your stock. We used to have huge stock losses. We used to go into stock taking of the year, and it was an absolute nightmare. A couple of days of processing, always a write-off that I then had sequence go and say, sorry, we've lost 80 grand of your stock, don't know where it's gone. Then you start worrying the jury about people nicking it, because obviously it's a very valuable commodity, you can melt it down. And we knew we wanted to do perpetual inventory, but what we ended up doing was breaking our stock down into codes. So we count wedding rings one morning, engagement rings another morning, then we do earrings, then we do necklaces. And we now have a routine that I don't even have to push, where 3 or 4 days a week the girls come in and they count elements of stock. And the division gives you a lovely report with, you can either have the quantity that you should have printed out, or you can keep it hidden. And the girls go through, check that, gives you a nice ledger when you make the amendments. And it's really helping us that foundation of trust in the stock and the accuracy. So we're doing perpetual inventory probably 15 times a month on different product codes as we go through. Another thing in terms of flexibility of the system, the way we have determined the make or buy decision, we got the guys at TechMan to come up with some production control codes. So we use the loss wax casting process. We do castings for customers, and we do castings for our internal manufacture. So we simply split them down to things that we could understand in terms that we could understand. So we've got internal casting, external casting, casting for different customers, manufacturing, factored orders. Makes it very, very simple for my ops team to understand the routing. The other thing we've used a lot of barcoding, as the guys alluded to. We use barcoding within the factory to trace orders around. We've just recently added barcoding to product going out of the factory, so that when we do the pick routine from our mini warehouse, we can literally pick the product out, zap it, confirm it on the bar, and it will automatically generate the invoice. So the things the guys talk about in terms of transactional improvement, productivity, we've got to that, the latter bits, maybe 2 years after we've implemented. So it's a continual process of change and challenge. So in summary, the foundations that we put in, system integration, obviously really important to us, so we have some credibility. Livestock information, a lot of credibility building, because nobody trusted what we had in stock. And obviously if you're selling that onto your customer, that's really important. Designating our lines, are they core lines or are they things we need to hold in stock? Core lines, going back to the grumpy owner, core lines are the lines that he would go in and put his hand in a tray and say, that should be there. And it's very difficult to argue why it wasn't there. We'd call those our core lines now. The rest of them, we still monitor, still reorder, they're not as important to us. Daily ordering, product tracking, hugely important. The results, which is the important bit, I guess. Deep breath. We've halved our write-offs in terms of stock, which I'm very pleased about, and we've got a target this year to half what we had last year. And that is based purely on that robustness of DPI. We do 2 big stock takes every year, and the losses coming out of that are an order of magnitude less than they used to be. The really interesting line there, the really interesting line here is this one. Over the last couple of years, we've moved our stock turns from 3.3 to 5.2. Now, a lot of people see it and saying that's not a benchmark for industry, that's not particularly high, that's not great. That saved us £1.8 million. That means we are a debt-free company. So in the current climate, the banks don't want to lend you any money. Our owners are absolutely bloody delighted with what we've done, because we don't have the bank account, which means we're actually continuing to invest in websites, machining centres, new technology. And that's not all down to Navision and Techman. What I would say to you is it's been an enabling factor in allowing us to gain control, become more productive and run faster. We've also halved our lead times. Part of this process, we had to challenge our suppliers and our internal suppliers. As we reduced the stock, we sat down with the sales force and said we're going to reduce the number of SKUs we have, we're going to reduce the stock. They said that's fine, but don't tell me you're going to reduce your offerings to the customer. So we had to pedal faster. And again, some of the supporting technology within Navision, such as barcode labeling, to allow us to track products through the factory, has enabled us to do that. So it used to take 4 weeks to make an engagement ring. It actually takes a guy on a bench about an hour. So why did it take 4 weeks? It took 4 weeks because we produced the order, lose it, put it in a pile, wait to process it, then process it and sit on it, then pass it through into stock, then think about invoicing it. So it's all that queuing that goes on either end is much more visible now. And we produce mounts now in average of 7 days. So reduced SKUs, robust stock, very, very important. Conclusions from me about today. As I said, I'll try to keep it to 20 minutes. It's a great package. I would thoroughly recommend it to you. There are some superb people at Techman. As I said, I've enjoyed working with them, apart from the first 3 months, which was horrendously stressful. The thing I would say to you is make sure you get some testing done at front end. And no matter what you test, there'll always be more to test, and get the people that use it to test it. It's no use me testing it, because I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. You need the people at coalface to be testing it. Don't try and always do it the way you've done it. What we're doing now is spending money with Techman, ripping out all the bespoke that we put in at the start to go back to a basic version. Because actually, some of the processes we had weren't the best processes. But we obviously wanted to mirror those when we went live. Maybe you need to challenge yourself, just ask yourself why a couple more times to doing those things. Has it helped our management team become more efficient? Absolutely. Thoroughly. And the people doing the transactions more efficient. It's enabled us to reduce stock, but you have to be mentally willing to take the challenge on. The system won't do it for you. As James said, if you keep overriding stuff, you're not great. You know, you need to come out of a meeting not saying we're going to reduce it by 10%. Let's halve it. Why can't we halve our stock? You know, be really radical with your thoughts, because it will enable you to do it. The last one's a bit harsh. Should have made James wince when he saw the slide. Is it a complete deal? No. We've got to a stage now, 2 years on, where we're talking to the gentleman sat behind you at the back of the room from Lana. Because what we've really done is we've created a whole bunch of cash. We've done lots of good things. We've established some credibility. We need now to optimise what we do. We need to take it on to the next level. So at the moment, we're eating away at stock in small lumps. And we probably hold about £3 million worth of stock, about 1.8 million, 1.6 million like the component stocks, the things that we would sell out. Again, in terms of being radical, I can present a plan to my fellow board members where we eke out 50 grand here and 50 grand there. I want to take out another £500,000. And to do that, I need to act on the data much more rapidly, in a much more open way. And what you can bolt onto Navision is something like the Lamb & Associates product, which looks at your stock and optimises it, it looks at lead times from your suppliers, and it runs through the algorithms to give you more flexibility, more knowledge, and enables you to make better decisions. So 2 years on, having achieved an awful lot, what I would say to you is we're ready to take it to the next level now. We're just looking at something to turbocharge it, if you like. But what I would say to you is it's a super package, and if I had to do it all again, I would do it again. Any questions?
It didn't make me wince at all.
I
think it's exactly right. I mean, one thing I would say